So as you can see, it's close to 90. I'm in the garage. I think it's a little warmer outside. It's supposed to be mid 90s later. So this is my Harbor Freight 2-ton engine crane. Comes in 2 boxes. One box could look a little better, but it's pretty heavy. So I'm assuming all the pieces are pretty strong and not all banged up. But let's take it apart and let's put this thing together. So here's most of the pieces out of the box. There's the ram. Most of the parts look okay. They weren't really wrapped in there, just some cardboard sitting in between them, but it's going to get banged up. What do you expect? One of the casters is bent on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but no big deal. You know, probably bend that out. Some of them don't rotate the best. So I know people have had problems with the bearings falling out eventually. Maybe I can wash it out with some WD-40. I did find, let me see if I can make sure I don't show this guy's name. I did find his packing slip in the big box. Some door seals, sliding rear window, trucking company. So this is not Harbor Freight. I don't know how this would have gotten in the box. So I don't know why it's there. Okay. Well, step 1 on the instructions already has the wheels, the casters, on. So, of course, the casters aren't on, and there is 2 different sizes. So I'm assuming that the larger one goes in the back and the smaller one goes in the center, because that's not going to be supporting any weight until you fold up the legs. To reach these bolts in the back here, the nuts, sorry, you can use yourself a box end wrench. This is 14 millimeter, and the bolt itself is 14 millimeter on this side. So if you slip that on the back there like that, you just let it sit there. So that way I can do this one-handed as I'm filming. And then get yourself another one on the other side. This is a ratchet wrench, so let's just put that on there. And then just tighten them down like that. Piece of cake. So this is the last hinge. This is the one that was bent. I tried straightening it out a little bit, but I don't have a vise. And I didn't want to skin my knuckles up too bad. So we'll just see what happens if I just crank on it while it's like this. I'm sure that's tight. Click. There we go. So I had to take a break because it's so hot in here. So I went in to get some lunch and heated up some quesadillas that I had left over in the toaster. And I came back out here in the garage to grab a soda. And by the time I had gotten back inside, my mother-in-law was standing in front of the toaster. So I waited a few seconds and she didn't move. And I said, I think she didn't know I was there. So I said, that's mine in the toaster. She goes, oh. I said, did you put something in the toaster? She says, no. And then slowly turned around and walked away. So that was a close one. I'll tell you, it is hot. Hot, hot, hot. Okay. So, got the first pin in. Second pin in goes right here. I tell you got to lift this thing up. And since I'm one-handed, I'll have to use my super Crocs here. Yeah, nice. Don't laugh. And then you have these pins to go in there too. So, put them, if you put it this way, it's easy to get in and out, but it's not really clipped in there. So make sure you put it this way. Can you see that? Click. Okay, now that I got the first one in, I can try it with the second one. I don't even think I'll use my Super Crocs this time. Yep, it's gonna need the Croc. Here we go. Nice. Click. No. Click. Normally I would just cut this package open and dump all these bolts out, but as you can see, there's I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sizes. So I'm gonna wait until the instruction says to pull out a particular size. I'm sure it's not that hard to figure out, but I just don't feel like being an ass. So I guess they made an ass out of me after all, because do they have sizes in there? Oh, okay, you have to match them up over here. There you go. So it gives you the part number here, and then you look up the corresponding bolt size to what's on here. See? Only half-ass. Okay, so there's the post. It uses these two 14 millimeter bolts, and they have a 22 millimeter head and a 22 millimeter nut. So that's the biggest wrench I got. I'll have to go to adjustable wrench. I don't think I have any sockets bigger than 22. Okay, I don't know if you noticed, but I got this leaning the wrong way. Yeah, I got it on backwards. This is the bracket for the ram, so obviously it's on the wrong side. So let me switch that around. Ah, the sweat is dripping off me. Let me switch it around. Do it. Okay, I've put the side supports on. I left this centerpiece loose at the bottom before I tightened everything, because if you tighten that up first, you're gonna have a hard time getting these bolts in the straps. And if you look at the bottom, that's a, I don't know what size that is, but it's bigger than any wrench I have. I've got this cool bionic wrench though. Look at this. But fortunately, won't fit. Dang, I haven't gotten to use this yet. I do have this other cool wrench though, where you can crank it down, tighten it on the bolt you want. I got adjustable wrenches too. I don't like using adjustable wrenches, but I don't necessarily like using this thing either. It doesn't even have a name on it. Oh yeah, it does. Skillcraft. Okay. I guess you got to be skilled craftsman to use it. So, anyway. Anyway, just put that on there like that, tighten it down. Sure is hard with one hand. There. That's not even going to come off. So, pretty good, huh? All right, let me tighten that down. Go on to the next step. So, silly me. Didn't read ahead. Figure C says attach the supports to the post, which I did like that. But then if you go ahead to the next step, figure D, it says slip this handle in between. That ain't gonna happen right now, because this whole thing is tight and under tension. I can't just take that bolt out because these side straps aren't even gonna move. So I loosened up the bottom 2 bolts in that post. Let's see if that gives me enough slack to get that grab handle in there. I'm sure there's a limit to how much you want to tighten this, because the tighter this gets, you're going to pinch this. So I think you just want to make it snug, just as there's no slop in there. No sense putting a bind on that. And I dropped the jack part in, put the bolts in there. Everything seems to work. Very slow. You don't need it faster than that. So there was some debate on whether there's going to be fluid in this. Some people said they got theirs without fluid in it. But when I tipped it up and down, you could hear the fluid rushing back and forth. So I don't know if it's the proper amount of fluid, but there is some in there. So I'm just going to finish putting the rest of the pieces on, tighten up everything, and see what happens when I'm done. All right, bye. Oh yeah, it is hot. I got sweat on my glasses even. I can't even see what's going on. Okay. Okay, so here's the finished product. I've got the arm shortened all the way just for storage. But I don't know if it goes any higher than that. I was high enough for me. I don't need it to go any higher than that. I want to make sure it went up all the way if there's enough fluid in it. So I can put it down. Bam. All right. So now that I've got my engine hoist, cherry picker, engine crane, whatever you want to call it, and I got no extra pieces left over, that's a good sign. Next thing I got to do is put this thing together here, the engine stand. And then I can get started on this. So I'm going to pull the engine out of there, see what's wrong with it, put it back together, if everything goes well, and see what happens. I'll have to do another video starting this thing up, see if I can document what kind of issues I'm having. Yeah, it looks nice in this lighting here. So I'll see you next time. Well, one more thing. I should fold it up because I got to get this thing out of the way. It's taking up my wife's side of the garage. When she comes home with her hot rod, she is not going to be happy. So I'm going to fold it up and see if I can squeeze it in that little spot right over there. So I've already pulled the pins out. I know people complain about that getting this pin out is here. There's a lot of tension under there. If you look down there, you can see these holes don't line up because now the weight is on this wheel. I've already pulled them out. But I just stuck this underneath the side here and lifted it up. Not a big deal. You can stick your hand under there too. It gives you a little more leverage using a bar, but then just fold up the leg. And don't forget to put that pin back in, because it will fall. Guaranteed. So there you go. I know a lot of people complain that this thing wobbles like this. Saw somebody just hook the bungee cord around the top just to tie it back. And I'll probably just do that because this thing will shift on you and then scare the crap out of you because you think it's going to fall on your head or on the wife's fancy car, you know. And that can't happen. I have to let her beat it up herself. All right. So let me put the other pin in. Go. And then use these fancy grab handles they got. Yeah. That's nice. Okay. There you go. Look, you can see the legs already flip forward. But it's off to the side in my pile of junk over there. Plenty of room for the wife to pull in here. See you later.